A couple of weeks ago now, I said if you would like to ask me a question, anything, please feel free to do so. Wow, you guys have certainly asked the questions. Now it's up to me to answer them. Hi, my name's Carl. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another video. Today's video is a Q&A video and it's running alongside my 500 subscriber competition draw video as well. If you guys have entered my competition, a massive good luck to you all. I've got my fingers crossed. It's the biggest prize I've ever given away on YouTube. I do wish you all the very best of luck. If you're coming across my channel for the very first time, Carlinio9, hello and a massive welcome to you. Please consider subscribing if you can, because it really does help the channel out and I'd really appreciate it as well. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I said if there was anyone out there that would like to ask me a question, whether it's personal or to do with movies, within reason, please feel free to do so. Wow, you guys have certainly asked the questions. I actually found them quite hard as well. I didn't actually think I'd actually get that many. I thought I might get one or two. And if I get one or two, I'll just put that in my competition draw video. I wasn't expecting over 1,000 questions. I mean, this is amazing. We're going to be here most of the night. It's going to take over 8 hours. We're probably going to beat the live streams of record of 8 hours as well. I'm just kidding. No, I didn't really get that many. I did get a few and I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everybody that took the time to ask me a question. I've really enjoyed answering them the best I possibly could. Like I say, some of them were very tough questions. I really did have to put my thinking cap on as well for this. So without further ado, let's get straight into these questions. Before I get started, I'm going to read the name of the person that gave me the question. Please do make sure you do check out their channels, because every one of these channels, there are some usernames in there as well, but most of them are YouTube channels. Please make sure you do check out their channels, subscribe to them and all support each other, because that's what it's all about. And everybody in this little Q&A have fantastic channels. I do recognise quite a lot of them. So the first one up is Blu-ray collector Gary. He asked me a question. He said, what film do you love that you don't think gets enough notice? In other words, your most hidden gem. Well, for me, it is this one here. Masters of the Universe. It's not really, I'm just kidding, Gary. No, seriously, it has to be, I've picked two. The first one is Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, I'm a massive Queen fan. Probably every Queen fan's going to love this. But this did actually get slated in one national newspaper. And I thought, you know, it's so wrong because it is such a good movie. So I've gone with Bohemian Rhapsody. And also, this one, I don't think this gets enough attention as well. Twister. Where is it in 4K? You know, it really does need to come out in 4K. It's a great movie. So I've gone with Twister as well. And also, Gary would like to know, the Blu-ray collector, if you could act alongside another actor, who would that be? Not necessarily your favourite actor, you know, but who would you think you would have the most fun with? I had to think about this one, and I've chosen Will Smith because he seems down to earth and sort of very helpful if you got stuck or lost on your words, for instance. He's not one of them sort of guys that like, oh, I'm a great big actor type thing, you know, and too big for his boots, you know, I'm this big star. I don't think Will Smith is like that, so I would like to appear alongside Will Smith, and most of his movies that he's done are absolutely brilliant. I've got most of them, and there are a couple of bad ones he's done, but most of them are pretty my sort of movies. So I've chosen Will Smith for that. Gary, thank you so much. That is the Blu-ray collector. And next we have Drew Simbo. He would like to know is, if you could watch 5 movies for the rest of your life, which 5 movies would they be? Now, for me, I've chosen my favourite movies of all time. Whether that was right or not, perhaps I should have put a comedy in there, I don't really know. But I've gone with Return of the Jedi, Die Hard, I've gone with Ghostbusters, The Wizard of Oz, and The Goonies. Those are the most movies I have fun with, and I could watch these movies over and over again. So I've gone with those five. That's Ghostbusters, Star Wars Return of the Jedi, I've got The Goonies in there. I've also got The Wizard of Oz, because that is a great movie, The Wizard of Oz. And Die Hard as well. Who can forget Die Hard? Absolutely fantastic. Drew, thank you so much for asking me that question. Next, now, we have Mondo Celebic Movies, and we also have Matt versus Movies. Now, both these two channels asked me the same question. Now, Mondo Celebic Movies, I asked him a question a while ago. How many movies do you own in your collection? Because he has got thousands. It's a massive collection. It's a lot more than mine. And I was really curious to know. He only just got back to me on my 500 subscriber competition entry. He actually asked a question in that to fire back at me. How many do I have in my collection? So he asked the same question as Matt. And, you know, when I asked John this question, and John just got back to me, because he has been, you know, it takes a while to count these, how many you actually own and stuff. He has nearly 2,000 in his collection. I couldn't believe it. That is a huge amount of movies. Although I did actually think John would have more than that. And I said to Stacey, he's got 2,000 movies. It seems more than that. But then Stacey corrected me and said 2,000 movies is a lot of movies, Cole. For instance, if you were to put one movie on a night, how long would that take John to watch the whole of his collection? If you work that out, that's a good few years. So yeah, it is quite a lot of movies. And I feel like I should have more movies. Now, both Matt and John said how many movies or Blu-rays do I own in my collection. Now, going back before Blu-rays were out, I was a huge, massive film collector. I had hundreds and hundreds of DVDs. The trouble is, they took up way too much room. I would have liked to have seen a DVD maybe in like a normal CD size case. I know a lot of people would disagree, but at least I would get loads on my shelf. Because the DVDs do actually take up a lot of room. So I was storing them in these little storage units. And I had around about, I would say, at guessing, I probably would have had about 7 going on to 800 DVDs. But I never actually kept my DVDs. I used to trade them in and get new films with them, stuff like that. I never used to keep any. And now I've decided to keep all of them. And because they were taking up too much room, I decided to do a job lot sell on eBay. And I sold every single movie I had, apart from Star Wars and Die Hard and that. But most of the movies I had, I just sold them all. I've only just started getting them back. I have counted my collection. And it is disappointing because I thought I would actually have a lot more. I do have a lot, but I wish I have, not wish, but I thought I would have a lot more in my total. And my grand total is 578. That's without the pickups, which I have a Blu-ray and 4K pickup video coming later in about 2 weeks time. So yeah, 578 is my grand total. That is for John Mondo Celebic Movies and Matt versus Movies as well. Matt has also asked me another question. If you had to go to a desert island and could take one film in your suitcase, what would that movie be? Well, I thought any Star Wars movie, and then I thought maybe a Star Wars A New Hope, because this would bring back childhood memories for me when I was on that desert island. And then I thought, well, maybe not Star Wars. Perhaps I should take Castaway, because that would give me hope of getting off this desert island, because we all know what happens in Castaway. That is a great movie. And so my answer, Matt, would be Castaway, because I could watch that and maybe it would actually give me ideas for survival on that desert island. Matt, thank you so much. And again, John, thank you. Next, we have Jonas Crabber. Hello, Jonas. He asks, which actor would you want to be stuck at the end of the world apocalypse with? Well, for me, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he is on my Instagram and we're always chatting amongst each other on Instagram. I ask how he is, he always asks how I am. No, he doesn't really. But no, my answer is Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he is actually on my Instagram and he just seems such a down-to-earth, genuine, nice guy. And you know, he just seems such a nice guy. Also, he'd actually keep me fit as well in the end of the world apocalypse with weight training and stuff. So I would choose Arnold Schwarzenegger. Perhaps if it is the end of a world apocalypse, maybe I should actually choose someone that would make me laugh. So in that case, that would be Jim Carrey or Lee Evans. Those two, because they are such funny guys and they would make me laugh in an apocalypse, end of the world apocalypse. But I think I would actually like to be stuck with Arnie, because Arnie seems a nice guy, and he does on Instagram as well, you know, for how famous he is, he just seems down to earth. So I would actually choose Arnold Schwarzenegger. Next we have the Movie Insider. He asks, what movie would you like to see a 4K release in the future? Well, this one, I mean, they've just released, 88 Films has just released Short Circuit 2, which I've got. And I would have loved to have seen a 4K release of that, Short Circuit. Maybe Short Circuit 1 and 2 together. And I don't understand why they didn't do that. It's just on standard Blu-ray and it's just Short Circuit 2. I would have loved to have seen them both together in a 4K release, but unfortunately they did not. The most 4K movie I'm most looking forward to watching is Smokey and the Bandit. That is out next month, I think, or the month after. I'm really looking forward to Smokey and the Bandit. It's one of my favourite films, and I can't wait to see what the 4K picture is like on that. And the other one I'd like to see is a 4K release of this for 1978, Convoy. I've got it on Blu-ray. I'd love to see it all cleaned up in 4K. That would be absolutely really fantastic. So that is my answer for that, the Movie Insider. And what else do we have? Okay, moving on. We've got, oh, actually, the Movie Insider. There was actually one more I must mention, because where is Terminator in 4K? Honestly. You've got Terminator 2 Judgment Day in 4K, but there is no Terminator in 4K. So I would have loved to see Terminator in 4K as well. I'm going to put that one out there. So Terminator and also Convoy in 4K. Those are the ones I would love to actually see come out in 4K. I don't know why they haven't. Okay, sorry about that. Moving on to JT at the Movies. Now, James, he asks, if you could have dinner or drinks with any 5 celebrities or historical figures, who would they be? Okay, so I had to really think about this one. Would I really want to have dinner with a president, for instance? Because I was thinking Lincoln. I think, no, why? And everything. Then I was thinking, well, I wouldn't have dinner with any prime minister because I'm not into politics. So that wouldn't be right either. So I've gone with Lee Evans because he would make me laugh so much. I've also gone with Freddie Mercury. Love Freddie Mercury, and he could crack out a tune. Will Smith, because I mentioned earlier he seems quite down to earth. I had to pick a lady, so I've gone with Sharon Stone. And I've also gone with one of my favourite actors of all time as well, and that is Harrison Ford, James. So it's a bit of a mixture in there, but I can guarantee that we would have a laugh at that dinner table with those 5 people at that dinner table. It was a very good, difficult question, James, because you're talking historical figures. I mean, there's so many out there that I could have picked, but I've just gone with those 5. If I could think about it more, maybe I would choose some historical figures, but I've gone with them 5, and we would definitely have a great laugh at that dinner table. The second question that James would like to know is, who do you prefer, the Eagles or Fleetwood Mac? Now, I've gone through most of the tunes of Fleetwood Mac, and I've also gone through the Eagles tunes. I'm weighing up each one, and I'm actually going to choose the Eagles. There's a lot more songs in there that I prefer than Fleetwood Mac. They're both excellent bands and stuff, but I choose the Eagles because I kind of know more and can relate to more of those sort of songs. So the Eagles for that one. Okay, moving on to the Forgotten Horror Channel. Davey would like to know, what was the very first VHS you watched? Now, this was a very good question, and if you haven't checked out Davey Dark's channel, Davey, please do get over and check out the Forgotten Horror Channel, because he is absolutely fantastic. He brings back so many memories of VHS movies. Anyway, going back to the question, what was the first VHS you actually watched? I couldn't actually remember, if I'm honest, Dave, but I have gone with the two that I know was the first, and it was either A Nightmare on Elm Street or it was Iron Eagle. Those were the two first movies I ever watched on VHS. I don't know which order it was, because I remember my mum and dad renting them out and we watched one of them, but I don't know which one, but it was definitely those two, A Nightmare on Elm Street and Iron Eagle. Davey, thank you so much for asking me that question. The next question is from Pro Physical Media. Now, he would like to know, what is the holy grail in your collection? Well, I've got a couple, and I've always said this. It's the Star Wars Zavvi Blu-ray Steelbooks, because they are going for fortunes on eBay at the moment. I'm just going to show you quickly. So we had The Phantom Menace, and we have The Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and we also have my favourite, Return of the Jedi. But if you can see the detail on the Emperor there, that they're all very detailed. So I would say it's definitely these Zavvi Steelbooks of Star Wars on Blu-ray. I do actually have the newer Star Wars on Blu-ray Zavvi Steelbooks as well. So I've completed the whole set, like Solo and Rogue One, for instance. They are all on Steelbooks. They are my holy grail. I absolutely love them. I know they're going for a fortune on eBay. There is also this one as well. I have mentioned this before on John's channel, John Mondo Chelabit Movies, when he asked this question. The Wizard of Oz on DVD. Now, I bought this Christmas Eve. I remember buying it for my wife, and it is on a standard DVD. But also, you got this. If you press this button, there. So that's my holy grail as well. I thought about getting rid of this one, and I decided to keep it. I haven't seen this anywhere to buy, so it's definitely this one as well. And also, I've got to give this a mention. It's the Goonies in 4K. It's like a treasure chest, and it all lifts up, and everything is inside. Really do like this set as well. Thank you so much, Pro Physical Media, for that question. That was a really good question. Okay, on to Scott the Movie Critic. He would like to know what is your favourite franchise, and what is the most underrated movie in that franchise? This was a good one for me. Everybody knows my favourite franchise, and it's Star Wars. I've picked two because I've got two favourite franchises. I've actually got quite a few, but I've gone with two. And it is Star Wars, and obviously it's Return of the Jedi. This is my favourite movie. If you say to anyone, what's your favourite Star Wars movie in the whole franchise, most people will say The Empire Strikes Back. But for me, it's Return of the Jedi, because there is so much going on in this movie. You've got the Battle of Endor. You've got the Battle of the Second Death Star. You've got Luke versus Vader. There's just so much. You've got Jabba's Palace at the beginning of the movie as well. There's so much going on in that movie, and it just does it for me. So this is the most underrated movie, I would say, in that franchise, because not many people say Return of the Jedi is their favourite movie. And also, my other favourite franchise is Die Hard. And the underrated movie in that, I think, is Die Hard 2, Die Harder, when they're at the airport. And obviously Bruce Willis is in the wrong place at the wrong time at the airport. That doesn't get enough mention. And I do think that is an underrated movie, because that is a very good movie alongside the first Die Hard. So those are my answers, Scott. Thank you so much. That was a great question to ask. On to Magpie Movies. Geordie Paul. Oh man, did I have a struggle with this one. Paul's asked me, if you could put the original Ghostbusters in 2021, who would you have play the roles of the cast. This was really, really difficult. I really did struggle. Found some characters easy. So, of the Ghostbusters, we've got Peter Venkman. I would have as cast Ben Stiller. Maybe. That was the dodgy one I was going for. But I've gone with Ben Stiller. And Ray, I've gone with Kevin James from Mall Cop as Ray. And Egon. Now Egon, I was going to say Tom Hanks, but because of his age, I couldn't really put him in there. So I've gone with Ed Helms from The Hangover. And Winston, it's going to be Will Smith. I think Will Smith would be an excellent Winston. Whether that would be the right cast, I would love to know your cast for Ghostbusters. So please, everyone, put in the comments, who would you have star as Ghostbusters cast? If you could put the cast in 2021, who would you choose? I'd love to know, because I actually struggled on this question. Very, very, very good question, Paul. And like I say, I did struggle a little bit, so I'd love to hear everybody else's thoughts. Thank you so much, Paul, for taking the time to ask me that question. Okay, moving on to Ollie Loves Films. Now, Ollie wants to know, is my question, what is your favourite cheesy 90s film? Like Backdraft, Twister, or Dante's Peak, etc. Well, for me, I've gone with Hot Shots Part 2. That was really cheesy. And I've also gone with Dumb and Dumber as well. So those are the two movies that I thought was really cheesy. Ollie, thank you so much for asking me them questions. I had a lot of fun trying to find some cheesy films from the 90s. That was really great. Thank you. Next, we have Alan Scouser. Alan has a great channel as well, as they all do. Alan would like to know is, what is the first ever Blu-ray you bought in your collection? Well, I definitely know the first ever DVD I bought, and this was, I think, 1997, and it was The Night Flyer. Obviously, it's by Stephen King, and The Night Flyer. That was the first ever DVD I ever bought, because there was only a few back in 97, and when they first came out, I remember buying the actual first ever DVD player, and that came out very, very expensive, and look where they are now. So that was the first ever DVD. Blu-ray, I had to do my homework on this one. Hitch by Will Smith from 2006. That was when the first sort of Blu-ray came out, because it was by Sony, and obviously you had the PlayStation. So yeah, I'm pretty certain, Alan, it was Hitch, starring Will Smith, was my first ever Blu-ray. Oliver Cartoon Studios, he's actually asked me 4 questions here. Question 1 is, what is your favourite Marvel movie? Well, I think I love seeing them all together. So I've gone with Age of Ultron as my favourite Marvel movie. Also, probably Iron Man 2. I really did like that movie as well. But I've gone with Age of Ultron as my favourite Marvel movie. Question 2. What do you think is better, Marvel or DC? For me, it's going to be Marvel, I think. I just think Marvel's very clever, the way they thought about all their movies and brought them all together. So I'm definitely going to say Marvel as the best. I haven't actually seen the Zack Snyder's Justice League yet, but I'm going to choose Marvel as my best, because I just like the way they bring all the characters of the universe together. They were very clever the way they actually did that. Question number 3 is, what is your favourite Star Wars movie? Well, as I said, it's Return of the Jedi is my favourite Star Wars movie. I explained why. So much going on in that movie. Absolutely brilliant. And question number 4. Do you own Ghostbusters 1 and 2 on Blu-ray? Because he does. Oh, this was... honestly... Right, I did own Ghostbusters 1 and 2 on Blu-ray, and the ones with the girls in as well, but I sold them, all 3 of them. I traded them in because I knew I was going to get the complete 3-movie 4K set of Ghostbusters 1 to 3. Now, when I ordered the Ghostbusters in 4K 1 to 3, HMV said, yeah, it's all been sent, it's gone, it's all off to you. So I traded in my Blu-rays that I had of Ghostbusters. Never received the HMV 4K 3-movie set. When I contacted HMV, they said it was sent. It's obviously got lost in the post. So now I don't actually own any Ghostbusters movies, which is actually quite sad. But I am waiting for them to maybe do a complete set with the Ghostbusters Afterlife, hopefully in 4K as well. So I'm really hoping for that. So I'm saving myself for that one big whole complete movie set of Ghostbusters that should be coming soon. Fingers crossed. Okay, and Paul Lambs. Hello, Paul. He would like to know is how pumped, this follows on nicely, how pumped are you for the Ghostbusters Afterlife? And do you think they will be able to capture at least a little bit of the magic of the original movie? I can't express, Paul, how excited I am for Ghostbusters Afterlife, because going back at the start of last year, way before, probably 2019, it might have been the end of 2019, I did a Ghostbusters ranking, and I also did my thoughts on Ghostbusters Afterlife in that as well, where I dressed up as a Ghostbuster. I even got slimed as well. I was so pumped up for that movie, and for it to be delayed, I just couldn't believe it. You know, obviously what happened, everything is. And I really do think, I wasn't as sure, I've actually seen a trailer to Ghostbusters Afterlife, probably about 6-7 times now. And I wasn't too sure about the kids, but the more I've watched the trailer, the more I get excited about it, because there are going to be special guests of the original Ghostbusters in that movie as well. So this is definitely going to be the carry-on from Ghostbusters 2. You know, that is going to be the trilogy. That will complete the trilogy. Forget the new Ghostbusters. That was quite funny. There were some funny bits in there. But obviously you've got Ghostbusters 1, 2, and Ghostbusters Afterlife is definitely going to go straight in after Ghostbusters 2 to complete that trilogy, I think. So I do think they will be able to capture some of the magic. Wasn't too sure at first, but the more I watched that trailer, definitely. Paul, thank you so much for that question. It was a very good question. On to Splash with Ariel. Hello, Ariel. She would like to know, is there any box set that you're most looking forward to owning or saving up for? Well, I'm saving up for I've actually pre-ordered it, so I've paid for it already, and that is the Indiana Jones 4K set. I can't wait for that to arrive, and that's out, I think, in a couple of weeks. So Indiana Jones in 4K, Ariel, is the one I'm looking forward to. And saving up for, I really do want this Jason Bourne set in 4K. I don't know why, because they are all old movies. But it's just so expensive. It's like 59, 60 odd pounds here in the UK. So Jason Bourne in 4K would be an excellent purchase for me. But like I say, I haven't actually got that. But yeah, definitely the Indiana Jones 4K set is the one I'm most looking forward to seeing how they can. Is it going to be better in 4K? I can't wait to find out. And the second question Ariel would like to know is, how many tattoos do I have, and are they all black and grey? I actually have 3 tattoos. They're 2 tattoos, but I added to it, so I count it as 3, Ariel. So I've got this one here of my daughter, and I also have this one up here. It's basically started off as a scroll of my twin boys with their names and date of birth on. But I just didn't like the scroll just as a scroll on its own, so I wanted to add to it. They were born during the World Cup, and so what I did, I had the shield with the St George's cross on this shield to represent England. Obviously during the World Cup it all sort of coordinates with the boys being born. And I've also got Saints there, which is the nickname to my favourite football team, Southampton, on the bottom. I actually, truthfully, do not like this at all. It's always covered up, and the reason being, I should have probably just kept the scroll, because putting this big shield on, it just looks silly. It's just too big. The shield is actually too big. So I would have loved to have more tattoos had I been younger. Well, I'm 47 now, so you know, I'm getting a bit too old for tattoos, but I wish I've had more going back when I was about, you know, teenagers, sort of early 20s, that sort of thing. But unfortunately I didn't. I'm a bit too old now. Ariel, thank you so much for them Great questions there. Next up is the legend himself, Alan, Kermit's Ghost. Everybody knows Kermit's Ghost. He's a true gent, a really nice guy. He's actually asked me quite a few questions. There's one particular question in here that I'm going to get to in a minute, and I'll explain as well when I get there. The first question he asks is, if you could have a superpower, what would you choose? Well, it's not really a superpower, but I'd love to be invisible. You could have so much fun being invisible in a nice way, so I would like to be invisible. The next question he asks is, how tall are you? I'm actually 6'2". Quite tall. I'm not really, so I can't keep a straight face. I would actually just pass as a hobbit actually. I'm actually 5'4", so I'm quite short. And the next question, if you could change your channel name, what would you have instead? Well, I actually thought about changing my channel name last year. The reason why is because Carlinio9 is a username, and I didn't want to have a username as my channel name. So I thought about changing it, and I did put it out there to all my subscribers where everybody did a vote and the winner wins, and it was to keep Carlinio9. Everybody seems to know Carlinio9. Google recognises Carlinio9. So I decided to keep Carlinio9. If I could change it, I was thinking more keeping Carlinio, but maybe having movies in. So Carlinio's Talks Movies. I don't know really, but it would definitely have Carlinio, and it would definitely have movies or films in there as well. But I decided to keep Carlinio9. Okay, the next one is, this is the one. Why do all British men have bad teeth? Now, a while ago, I did a movie review. It was about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. It did very, very well. It got over 3,000 views. It was a Netflix review. Over 3,000 views, which I was really pleased about. Now, when you get that many views, I haven't got that many subscribers. So it means new people are visiting your channel for the very first time. I had a comment from a lady. She didn't put anything about the movie at all. She put, why do all British men have bad teeth? I didn't take offence, you know, it's just one of them things she wanted to know. She obviously didn't subscribe because she wouldn't need Alan to ask that question. Alan's only joking, he just wants to hear my answer. Okay, so for me personally, it's going back, if I don't think I do have bad teeth, but obviously she thinks I did, and for me, it's when I going back when I was younger. Too many sweets. That is my excuse. I did actually look into it, Alan, on Google. I put that in there, and in fact, the lady is actually wrong. It's actually even between the UK and the US. And the reason for that is both have bad teeth. It's not like what you see in the movies where everybody has perfect teeth. Both sides of the pond have bad teeth. It's about even between men. And it's basically because of high sugar levels in the food. And the next question Alan would like to know is, if you could appear in an extra in any film ever made, what would you like to be credited in? So for me, it would be Star Wars. I would love to be in a new Star Wars movie, dressing up with those costumes. It would be absolutely fantastic. So I'd definitely choose Star Wars universe somewhere. Or maybe Top Gun. I'd love to be an extra in a Top Gun movie as well. That would be really, really cool. Alan, thank you so much. Great questions. Really did enjoy answering them. Thank you so much. The next question comes from Joe from Geeky Hijinks. He asks, is there anything coming up on your channel that you're really excited about in the pipeline? There actually is, Joe. Kermit's Ghost, Alan, who I've just read out in the questions, he recently picked up Primeval. I don't know if many of you remember the series Primeval here in the UK. Well, a few locations in that series was actually set where I actually know, and I messaged Alan to tell him, and he said, oh, you should definitely do a video, and I thought it was actually quite a good idea to do that. So I filmed all the locations already, but I'm actually having difficulty putting it all together with the actual series of Primeval, you know, connecting it all. I'm actually having difficulty doing that. I will definitely get through that, and I will release that. So I'm definitely looking forward to On Location with Primeval. And I'm also looking forward to taking on my wife more as well. Going back in my early YouTube days, I used to take the wife on in competitions in movies, for instance. She won most of them, and I would have to do a forfeit, for instance. And they were great fun to do. And I actually won one, and I remember the adrenaline running through me. I was just so excited because I actually won one movie competition out of about 3 or 4. I'm actually looking forward to taking on the wife more as well, because it'd be great to get her involved on the channel as well. Thank you so much, Joe. Great question. The next question comes from For the Love of Movies. He's got a couple of questions. The first one is, which film do you wish you got a chance to see at the cinema but you never actually saw it? His was Independence Day. I actually did see Independence Day at the cinema, and it was absolutely brilliant. Probably one of the best movies just before Independence Day was Twister that I saw at the cinema as well. Twister was very good at the cinema. But the ones I wish I actually saw at the cinema, I think, would be Ghostbusters, because I did actually see Ghostbusters 2 at the cinema, but I never saw Ghostbusters. And way back in 1984, when I was younger, I can remember the whole world going Ghostbusters crazy. So it would have been great to be a part of that. I'd have also liked to have seen The Goonies as well, and Top Gun. I am looking forward to seeing Top Gun Maverick when it comes in the cinemas this year, hopefully. I can't wait to see that, and I will definitely be making up for Top Gun and watching Top Gun Maverick. Really can't wait for that one. And also, he asks, now that you have a YouTube channel, do you think you would always make YouTube content? This is a very, very good question, I think, because going back when I was into YouTube, 6 months into YouTube, I used to put a lot of effort in my videos and hard work into my videos. I wasn't very good at it. I'm still not very good at it. But I used to put so much effort into it, and I used to get a lot of negativity. I wasn't picking up any subscribers. People were being quite horrible, some people were. And when you spend that time making that whole video and you get a negative comment, it does put you down. You know, it gets you really down and puts you down. I've also got twin disabled boys. They take up a lot of time. I can't just go to the cinema and watch a movie just like that. And I can't come back and do a review just like that. It takes a lot of time and planning. Very, very difficult for me. So yes, I did actually think about giving up. And then I thought about it and thought, why give up because of these people? They're not the sort of... I don't normally get down by people anyway, you know. I'm quite easygoing, you know. If people want to slag me off or whatever, that's absolutely fine. It doesn't bother me. But I thought to myself, all that hard work you've actually done making those videos. Not only that, my daughter used to do the editing for me. So all them hours my daughter spent editing them videos for me, it would have just gone to waste if I'd just given up. So the answer is, I will always be on YouTube as long as I can, because it would just be a waste. Anybody out there that's just starting YouTube, I said this on my live stream with Sinister Arts and Movies and Danielle as well, the girl in the movie. If there's anyone out there thinking of starting a YouTube channel, just go for it, do it. If you get halfway through and it's getting hard and you're thinking of giving up, keep going. My secret is keep making those videos. I've seen so many YouTubers just disappear from YouTube where they found it hard or whatever their reasons are. Keep making those videos. Trust me. Okay? That was a very, very good question. Thank you so much for that, For the Love of Movies. And the next question comes from Tom180. He asks, are there any directors who you think made a lot of solid movies but never got the credit for that they deserve? His is Jamie Collett Serrera and Tony Scott. For me, the only one I could actually think of really that didn't really get any credit for, because they are big directors, you know, like Steven Spielberg and stuff. I'm going to choose Edgar Wright because he did that fantastic Cornetto trilogy. So I'm going to choose Edgar Wright. Question number 2 is, what are some films in your opinion, that completely changed better when you rewatched it? That is a very good question, Tom. For me, it's this one here. Jeepers Creepers. When I first watched this, I thought, I don't know really. It starts off well and then it goes a bit sort of downhill. like that. Watched it again for the second time. I actually quite enjoyed it. So definitely I'm going to choose Jeepers Creepers. The next movie I also really hope, I've just brought it because it's up here, is this one here. Waterworld. Now, I remember watching this when it first came out. I didn't like it. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm really hoping that Waterworld will be good second time round. And the next question Tom would like to know is, what is the most well-known movie that you haven't seen yet? Well, this one's a good one because Tenet, I've got it here. Tenet, sorry. I haven't seen that yet. And I also hadn't seen John Wick, any of the John Wick till last week. And now I've seen one John Wick movie. I've got them all now, so I can't wait to watch them. But yeah, John Wick. And I could probably put in there Scarface and The Godfather. I have actually seen those movies, but I haven't seen those movies since I was probably 17. Last time I saw them, so a blooming long time ago, and I can't remember them, so I could probably put those two classic movies in there as well. Tom, thank you so much for those questions. They were absolutely brilliant. And the last question comes from, we've got 3 questions here, and it comes from Playtendo Guy. Thank you so much for taking the time to ask me these questions. Number 1, what film made you fall in love with movies? Well, this was great because for me it has to be E.T. from 1982. Going to the cinema with my mum for the very first time and watching E.T. on the big screen, it was just magical. And that movie is still magical today, but watching it on that big screen when you're a little kid was absolutely amazing. I'll probably put The Wizard of Oz in there as well. So many great memories watching it at Christmas time with my parents as well. So definitely The Wizard of Oz and E.T. because it was just so exciting going to the cinema when I was little. Question number 2. What film scared you when you were young? Easy. Dun, dun, dun. That music. Jaws. It wasn't so much the shark. It was that music. I used to wake up in the night when I was little, crying my eyes out. My parents would have to come in and try and calm me down because I hated it. It was absolutely so scary. And question number 3 is, what film would you class as underrated? Well, definitely Twister, because that is a classic in my mind, and it does get missed a lot because it is a very good film. It should definitely have a 4K release. But I did actually pick this one up as well. The Arrow release of Slugs. I didn't actually think Slugs would actually be a very good movie, but I really enjoyed it. And this is definitely underrated. So definitely Slugs on the Arrow label release is definitely an underrated movie. Playtendo Guy, thank you so much for them questions. Thank you to everybody that took part and to help me make this video. I've thoroughly enjoyed answering the questions the best I possibly could. You guys are great for asking me those questions. Thank you so much. A lot of them I did actually have to think about as well. Best of luck if you are entering my 500 subscriber competition. Like I said, I don't know the result yet because this one is being made first, but it will run alongside my 500 subscriber competition. So very best of luck. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you like this video, please do give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe if you can, because it really does help the channel out, and I'd really appreciate it as well. Thank you so much. You've been watching Carl on the channel Carlinio 9. Take care, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.